Well, I think it's only fitting that since this is the episode number 2 of DaPod, we should talk about number 2. Because I've been sitting on the toilet for most of this week.
Me too.
A wicked,
actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm not the only one.
Not for the same reasons either.
Well,
Similar.
Well,
Similar.
I've been curled up with nasty stomach problems for the past week.
And I think anybody that does come to China for the first time, I mean, we've been here for a while, but I have to say, when I first came here, immediately stomach problems.
Like messes with you, doesn't it?
I don't know.
It's a change in the water. I mean, you do
bacteria.
Traveler's diarrhea is a pretty common thing.
Very oily, spicy food as well. Good, but it takes you a little while to get used to it.
How do you guys cope with this kind of a sickness? I mean, when you're in a new city and you're trying to deal with something like this, I mean, how do you guys cope with this kind of shit?
Always carry emergency tissue paper. That is the traveller to Asia #1 tip that I think anyone could offer. Always carry your own tissue paper.
Yeah. And
why
did we go down this topic?
I take
useful,
wicked amounts of whatever it's called, lopamine or something like that.
Dopamine or something. Dopamine.
It's not dopamine. It's not taking. I'm not upping my dosage of dopamine.
It's not melamine, is it?
It's not melamine. No.
Okay.
It's these they're basically Imodium. They're knockoff Imodiums that I pop like candy now.
And that would keep you from expelling some liquid.
Yeah, you'd think that,
but
not so much.
But it doesn't solve the outlying problem.
No, but that's been
One thing you'll notice if you've only just arrived in China, or you're thinking about coming out, or you've never been out. When you first arrive, you'll notice how open people are about talking about bowel movements and things like that. I had a very interesting conversation about bowel movements with Andy the other day as well. Andy's a guy who works with us. But I remember when I first arrived in China, I arrived in Shanghai and there were about 50 of us all studying a bit of Chinese and doing a TEFL course, teaching English as foreign language course. And after about a week, everyone had been through the cycle of what Devon is experiencing right now, minus a few effects.
Umpteenth time.
Time.
Let's not go into that.
And everyone was fairly prepared for it, to the point when the Chinese teacher, this little Chinese girl called Grace, she knocked over a glass of water. And about 5 people in the front row, within like a second, had tissue on standby for her to mop it up, although obviously that wasn't its intended use. Everyone's got sort of tissue on fast access when they wander around China.
But everyone's pretty open to talking about poop, and I like that because poop makes me laugh.
Especially Devon.
Poop.
I don't carry the tissue.
I have a whole pack of it in my
I don't
desk
carry it
drawer.
either. I forget all the time.
I have a nice internal map of proper toilets.
Right.
That comes in handy too.
Which helps.
Yeah. But this is something you may or may not have experienced or have yet to experience.
On Sunday, what happened to me was I came down. I ordered a portion of Chinese delivery food, Kung Pao Jiding or Kung Pao chicken, and I ate it, and I think what I had was, it may have been MSG poisoning. After researching it on the internet, which I know I shouldn't do when it comes to medical crap, but I do it anyway.
Of course you do.
It looks like it was MSG poisoning,
which is
if you eat too much MSG,
for the benefit of everyone
poisoned.
who doesn't.
For the benefit of everyone, it's you come down with some diarrhea and some foul-smelling belching. Which I don't want to talk about this, but that's what happened.
MSG is the stuff that gets put in pretty much everything.
Yes,
it makes it tasty.
Yeah, but if you Google diarrhea and foul-smelling belch, that's what you'll find. Well, that's what I
Google.
found.
So, drawing a line under the poop, we kind of moved nicely onto restaurants there with your sort of talk of Kung Pao Jiding.
Well, there was one restaurant that I went to as sort of a remedy for the natural dehydration that follows from being sick. There's a Japanese restaurant down near Dawai called Gimpei, or in Chinese Yinping.
Yeah.
They have like a 45. I think it's 45 renminbi portion of what they call healthy tomato soup. And for anybody that's had hot pot in China before, this is very similar, except for instead of boiling water that you're dropping your meat and vegetables in, you're dropping everything into tomato soup.
Nice.
And then you just drink the tomato soup. So basically, you're eating the vegetables out of a boiling hot tomato soup, and then after you do that, you can drop in an egg and some noodles and some rice.
So it's like mixian then.
It's almost, well, first you put in the noodles. When you're done with the noodles, then you can put in some rice, and it's like almost like a risotto.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
It's awesome.
I've had this before too, and it's surprisingly really, really tasty.
I mean, it's number one, it's cheap, and it's really healthy. And again, as we spoke about last week, this is again one of the best meal deals.
Because that's a big fair size pot.
It's a lot of value for your
45 kwa is not like wicked cheap or anything like that.
No,
that's
I mean there was two of us.
Yeah, but like split. But yeah, I mean I've seen the pot
between
like
two people.
Yeah, two people eating that, and that's good enough.
I should say that it's not on the menu.
It's not.
Well, it may be on a poster on the wall, like a promo, but it's not actually on their menu. So be careful if you go there. Just ask them for the 45 renminbi healthy tomato soup, which is very good.
Yeah. Have we got any Chinese restaurants that we'd like to recommend? We haven't spoken about the Lantern restaurant. Yeah, the sort of place we go every week.
Yeah, I have no idea what
the hell is that.
We don't actually know what it's called because we've never actually had to.
Although it is interesting though that it's right next door to it's like across the intersection from this like apparently famous Chinese restaurant in Dalian on Shengli Lu called like Country Kitchen or something that has recently been torn down.
Yeah.
And
where is it?
Shengli Lu in Beijing Jie.
Yeah, it's like around the corner of Shengli Lu, which is a main artery.
There?
Beijing Jie sort of goes between Shengli Lu and People's Square. Yeah. It's quite easy to find. It's called the Lantern Restaurant.
But this Country Kitchen restaurant was like huge, and like I'd heard it before. It was supposed to be like well known. I think maybe for dumplings. But anyway, yeah, like we were walking up the street one day and it was closed, and not just closed, it was being torn down.
Do you guys need a beer?
I could do with a beer.
Okay, continue. I'll be back.
But yeah, it was shut down and being destroyed, and then we walked into our regular restaurant, which is across the intersection, on a diagonal, which is fantastic restaurant, and we're like I hardly had a bad meal there at all. But like everybody from that restaurant had flooded into this our place,
get in.
So we couldn't get in, which is really sad. But if you go there, like pretty much at any other time except like lunchtime on a Saturday.
Don't go to lunchtime on a Saturday because that's when we want to go.
But it's really solid. The gomba jiding, kung pao chicken there is really solid. What else do we usually get?
Gambian yundo. Dry spicy beans.
I'm not a big fan of them there, but I'm a bit snooty about those.
Yeah. Everything's pretty solid.
Everything there is
quite
generally
cheap.
Really quite solid.
I've been going there for almost 4 years now. Devon's been going there. You've been going there most of the time.
About a year now.
Yeah, and we quite enjoy it. It's a good restaurant. Saturday lunchtime for about 4 years.
Yeah. They're deep. Yeah. They do a lot of some of the stuff that we get a lot is just like random stuff covered in batter and deep fried. Because there's all kinds of things like that.
The prawns are very, very nice.
The prawns are really good.
The jiasharen.
The pork, the renjaro, is also really good.
And recently, the squid rings.
We just discovered these things. It's basically calamari and onion rings in like a big pot.
Very good.
And they're fantastic. Like it's totally not something that I've ever seen as a Chinese food before. It's like normal pub food. It's incredible.
Yeah. So that's a Chinese restaurant for you to look out for, I guess. Yeah. Oh,
we can put the directions on here.
Yeah. If you go on to maybe Dalian, we can put the location of that on there
and figure out what the name of it is because we really have no idea.
No, I doubt that'll help though.
Yeah, true enough.
We were going to talk about chuas and little chua places. Chuas, for any newcomers, are basically kebabs.
Meat on a stick.
Yeah, it's meat on a stick. And they're basically you can get a lot of things on a stick.
Sorry.
That's okay.